Oh, nice, it works. Check this out. This is what Skullgirls looked like once upon a time. This is the prototype build of the game. Let's see what counted as a story mode in this point. Here's the old sprites for Philia and Peacock. Look at how cute they are. This is a cutscene, apparently. Cut off by a picture in the corner. Guess there was no time to make text boxes here. When I think Skullgirls, I think drum and bass. We all got it. We got a punch and a kick, and that's it. Oh, this is maximum jank. Physics are pretty much non-existent. This is more a Rock'em Sock'em Robots than a fighting game. Combos mean nothing. You just slap buttons until someone wins. And sometimes you randomly go flying. And there's no animation for an air dash, so... Oh, that's weird. So you just kind of zip across the screen randomly. Stage never ended up getting used anywhere. Stage is probably the best looking thing about the beta. However, that van truck thing does actually appear in the final game. And it just kind of loops forever. Here's a demonstration mode that shows what the gameplay might have looked like. You can see some moves that the characters don't have in later builds, like Philia's Fireball and Peacock's Hammer. No sounds or hit sparks. But basic animations are there. In here, you can see alternate color for Peacock. I don't actually think ended up in the retail game. This looks different. And that's that. I do, however, have an even earlier build. There's only 2 playable builds of this prototype that still exist on the internet. That last one was revision 26. This next one is revision 17. Apparently there were 30 revisions before it moved onto the current engine. Copyright 2005-2006. That is quite old. Here we have the first version of the character select screen. It was gonna be portraits that pop out kind of like a Ninja Turtles Tournament Fighters. And here's another old stage. And an even earlier version of the UI. That was the old KO screen. Oddly, even back then you can kind of see the pop-up book stage design, which did actually end up being used in the final game. And here's demonstration mode again. As you can see, Peacock does not have a walk animation. The AI in this build seems to be pretty much non-existent. There's a small bug, okay, a major bug that seems to make the characters randomly teleport away when they collide. So yeah, to call this one jank is an understatement. And this one isn't actually playable at all, as far as I can tell. Oh, it is. What do you know? Gonna have to switch to window capture for this one. These old builds are referred to as Skullgirls with a capital S at the end to differentiate for fans. Here's another version of the character select screen. There's Philia with the swords that she doesn't have. parasol with a tree that she doesn't have. You can see Philia's alt color here, which interestingly is actually the color scheme that was used in all the promotional images when the game was first coming out. I remember seeing it on a Destructoid and in Game Informer, and they used this specific Philia palette. And I don't know what's going on over there. I almost did I did a special. There's her fireball and her spin. So it's a little bit. There's a little bit of stuff there. Not a lot. I don't know what the thing with the after images is, but according to all the concept art, every character was going to have a super mode. So it's very possible that that was going to be a placeholder for super mode activation. But in the end, only Pain Whale and Annie ended up having any sort of install. And in the builds prior to that, it is just animation. Proof of concept. That said, can give you a look at one more build. This one I unfortunately do not have access to. I wish I did. It looks really interesting, but it's lost to internet history. Let me get this up. Alright. There's no audio, but here's the lost beta build of Skullgirls. You see that Philia has her hairpin swords here. And the super meters are on the bottom instead of on the top. As you can see, the physics are still very jank, but at this point it's actually starting to resemble a fighting game. Yeah, that's basically just Cliff's background without a skybox. It's also the only time these sprites have ever been seen. There's no rips of them anywhere as far as I can tell. Let's see. And here's another really early build of the game. This is the first time that this was the first time the beta of what would become the retail release of the game was shown off. This is dated August 9th, 2010. As you see, back then, when a character got KO'd, they didn't stay in the background. They would shrink and then disappear. Here's a stage that never got completed. This was actually supposed to be a Peacock stage. Early in development, Peacock, as well as Squiggly and a couple of others, are supposed to have unique stages dedicated to them with some of their iconography in the background. But that ended up being scrapped, and this was eventually changed to the Lab 8 stage. First demonstration of the lighting engine. As you can see, there's only Philia here, because she was the only character completed in this build. Blockbusters did dim the screen, but they didn't have the super flash yet. Just placeholder text for the KO screen. Another stage that didn't actually end up being completed. I think this is supposed to be the catacombs of underneath the church that lead to the final atrium stage. But there's enough there to know for sure. And there's a small look at the strange development history of Skullgirls. This is the one case where we ended up in the good timeline, because if that prototype was indicative of the final product, I don't think the game would have had a lot of fans. But it is still really interesting to go back to and look at. I love development history stuff. Yeah, 2005, that's 17 years ago, I think. apparently, Alex Sahad was started working on the concepts of it right as he was finishing high school. So it was in the planning stage for quite some time. See if there's anyone online in the main version.